before starting, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Aditya and the entire team for giving me opportunity to be a speaker. So this is my first time with ATA GTR, and I would like to congratulate the entire team. They are working really hard. So kudos to the entire team. Thank you so much. So let me just switch on the presentation mode as well. Are you guys able to see my entire screen?
Yes, Monish, whole screen.
So the name of my session is Unleashing the Power of K6 Load Testing and Performance Monitoring Made Easy. So as you guys are aware, so K6 is a performance testing tool from Grafana Labs. How many of you guys are aware about Grafana Labs? We can keep this session interactive. You guys can type in zeros and ones. So zeros if you are not knowing about Grafana Labs. One, you can type one if you know about Grafana Labs and tools around the Grafana Labs tool sets.
So Monish, binary codes, I suppose, have started coming in zeros and ones in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So are we seeing ones?
Yeah, a few ones and more of zeros.
Okay. No problem. So when we talk about Grafana Lab, so Grafana is more into tools like Prometheus, and if you talk about the dashboarding, and if you talk about the logs, so Grafana is more into that. If you want to see the CPU utilization, memory utilization, so Grafana is your go-to tool. So K6 is a performance testing tool from Grafana. It is an open source tool, as well as they have their own cloud solution. So basis on your requirement, whether you want to do a quick performance testing on your own premises or on your own Mac machine or Windows machine, then you can use K6. As well as they have their own cloud setup as well. So there is no need to do, initial setup from your end. You just have to write the scripts, and then you can execute the scripts on K6 cloud platform as well. So let's dive deep into how K6 works and how it is different from JMeter. So how many of you are aware about JMeter tool? Can we see again zero? Can we again tell in zeros and ones? How many of you are aware about JMeter? Guys, I'm not able to see the chat. So
we see many ones and a few zeros.
Okay. So many people are aware about JMeter, right? So even if someone is not aware about JMeter, completely fine. So the key takeaways from my session will be performance testing is not difficult. So guys, if you are aware about functional testing, then I would say anyone who is proficient in functional testing can easily learn API testing. And if someone is aware about API testing, then performance testing they can easily pick up. Performance testing is not that difficult. Second takeaway I would say is performance testing helps find weak spots. And before going to the actual production and giving bad experience to users, we can fix those. We can find those weak spots and fix those in our lower environments. Better performance will always result into happy users. And then how we can use ChatGPT and other LLMs for performance script creation. So I will explain that during our session. So what is K6? So K6 is an open source tool, as I mentioned. The scripting language that we will be using here is JavaScript. So all our scripts will be saved as JavaScript. But don't worry, there is no prerequisite or there is no knowledge of JavaScript required. You can I will just show you how you can easily create JavaScript scripts and how you can run those. Then if we talk about the installation part, so there is no prerequisite needed for installing K6. K6 can be installed as a binary or as an installable on Windows machines. So if you talk about Windows machine, we have MSI files like Microsoft installer files, and then we can run using Docker as well. So making it convenient for any developer or QA. So if we talk about JMeter and K6, so JMeter is heavily dependent on the GUI. So it is essentially an GUI based tool. If you talk about test plan creation or adding thread groups or adding HTTP requests, you need to use JMeter's GUI. But if you talk about K6, you can simply write your JavaScript files. Once you have your script ready, then you can commit them in your GitHub repositories, and you can collaborate easily with your team. So that gives an added advantage if you use K6 tool. Then key features of K6, we get real-time insights. Once we run our performance scripts, we can get the results after we run our scripts. We can achieve distributed testing using their cloud environment, or if we run through various machines. Then we can set various performance thresholds like pass-fail criteria. So essentially, the reason of writing scripts is to judge whether our goal is getting met or not. So if our goal is not getting met, then our script should fail. So we can easily set up performance thresholds and performance checks, which will identify bottlenecks and ensuring optimal performance through our scripts. Benefits of using K6, so it is developer friendly. So as I mentioned, we need to write all our scripts in JavaScript. Realistic testing is possible with K6, so we can create scenarios that simulate the actual user behavior. So what do you mean by that? So we all are connected using Zoom, right? So we all are real users of Zoom platform. But when we carry out performance testing, when we do performance testing, we don't have that luxury of real users, right? So how to generate the load? For that, we are using something called as virtual users. So virtual users are like those mimicking or those behaving like real users, but we just record their actions. Let's say if in terms of API testing, we write different HTTP requests. In terms of browser testing, we record their actions and we write scripts around it. And then we get actionable insights, analyze and visualize test result with detailed reports, graph, and integration with popular monitoring tools. So we can see that in the next slide. Then let's check how to create, run, and analyze test in K6. So first step is write the test scripts in JavaScript. Then we have to run the test scripts. We can run the test scripts locally on our CLI, as well as on we can integrate using CI/CD pipeline. And the last step is analyze the results. So after executing the scripts, you will have to analyze the results, and you will have to compare whether it is in line with your SLAs or not. If it is not in line with your SLAs, you will have to find out the loopholes, whether it is application level issue, whether it is infra level issue. You will have to fix all this issue and do the performance testing again. And you will have to ensure that you are meeting your goals. So I will just show how we can do installation, how we can run K6, and how we can read the results output. So I will just switch. Let me just move this downwards. Guys, if you want to start with any tool, the best way is to go to their official website. So the official website of K6 is k6.io. Are you guys able to see my browser?
Yes, we can see that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So if you go to k6.io, then you can read all the content on their homepage. So it gives the best developer experience for load testing, and wherein all companies it is getting used, and the key features are listed on this homepage. We can directly head on the documentation page. So once you click on the documentation, they have very, very beautiful or very nicely written documentation, and it is keep getting updated. So once you click on the installation part, it is mentioned here. So on the welcome page, they are saying installation, running K6, and result output. So that we will see in next couple of minutes. So guys, if you think I'm going fast, please stop me and let me know. I will go step by step. So if we talk about installation, we can do installation on various OSs like Linux, Mac OS, as well as Windows. So the easiest way to install K6 on Mac OS is you need to just type this command brew install K6. So I will just copy this command and I will open a terminal. What I did is I have created one folder called as ATAGTR. So I will just show you. I have this directory monish.a, and inside that I have created this folder, and I will just delete all these files. Okay. So this is empty folder, and I will just show the PWD. PWD is nothing but present working directory. So I am inside this ATAGTR folder, and I will just paste this command. So it says brew install K6. So once you hit this command, it will start installing K6. But in my case, I have already installed K6. So it will tell me that you have already installed K6 and it will return the version number.
Hi Monish, Harsh this side. So Avinash is asking that he needs some help on Windows. So is the process same for Windows or it's a bit different?
I will just show you that as well. So if you want to install on Windows, they have mentioned here as well. So you can use the Windows Chocolatey package manager. So the command for it is choco install K6. Otherwise, you can use winget command. And if these two are not available for you, what you can do is alternatively you can download and run the latest official installer. So if you click here, what it will do is it will start downloading the MSI file. So as you can see here, MSI file is nothing but the Microsoft installer file, .exe file. So once you double click on it, it will install K6 on your machine. So I am not downloading this file because it will take some time.
Monish, would you be able to open chat by any chance? Zoom chat, or it's not visible at your end?
Yeah, it's visible. Let me just...
Okay. Because Avinash is telling that winget command is not working. Avinash, maybe you can unmute and ask directly to Monish.
Yeah, means that is update. Winget command is now working for me. So thanks. Actually, the previous command choco will install K6 is not working actually. The second one is working. So thanks.
Okay.
So, one more thing, guys, you can just unmute and ask Monish directly. I think Monish would also like to answer your queries.
Sure. So if both of these commands are not working on Windows, what you can do is you can directly click on this link. It has their official installer file. It will start downloading the official installer file. It will take some couple of minutes. And once it is downloaded, you just need to double click on it and it will install K6 on your Windows machine. So I will go again back to the terminal. I think K6 version got updated here. I will just check for K6 version. K6 minus K6 version. Let me just Google it. K6 version check. I'm not able to recall the exact command, but no worries.
Just K6 version, no hyphen.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So the version here is 0.47.0. I will just clear it. Okay, so we have installed K6. Then the next step is to run the test. So here they have provided a sample script. So what this script is doing is, I will just simply explain this script to you. Otherwise, what you can do is you can simply copy this script, go to ChatGPT and tell them that explain this script to me. It will simply explain you. So initially what they are doing is, they are importing HTTP. So as you can see here, they are doing an HTTP GET call. So that's why we need to import HTTP method from K6 HTTP, and we are introducing one second of sleep time. So that's why they are importing sleep from K6. So I will just simply copy this script. I will open any text editor. I will paste the script here and we'll save it. I will choose the folder ATAGTR and we'll save it using, I will just rename it as script.js. And how you can execute this script? So it's the command is very simple: K6 run and the script name. So K6 run script.js. So if you run this command, it will start executing your scenario. So by default, it will execute for one iteration for each one virtual users. Virtual users, I have already mentioned, already explained previously, that we don't have the luxury of real users. So that's why we are using virtual users. So this virtual user will help us execute our scenario. And after you execute your script, this is how the result will be shown to you. So here, as you can see, HTTP request duration. So request duration, so basically it provides you certain metrics. So these metrics are nothing but average, mean, max, P90 and P95 times. So as you can see here, we have executed only one iteration. So that's why you are able to see all the times as same. But if we execute more requests, then the timing will change. So the average time is, as the name suggests, it is the average of all the iterations that are getting executed. Are you guys aware about P90 and P95? So I will just explain what do you mean by P90 and P95. So I will give one example of coffee shop. So let's say if 100 users are getting to a coffee shop and ordering coffee for themselves, some user will get their coffee within 5 minutes, some will get in within 3 minutes, some will get it in within 2 minutes, right? So P95 score indicates that out of the 100 users that you are getting at your coffee shop, what minimum time it takes to serve the coffee for 90 percentile of the people. So that is nothing but P90 score. And similarly, you can get the P95 score. So this is how we executed the script for one virtual user. But let's say if we want to increase the number of virtual users, so how you can do that? So the command for it is K6 run --VUS10 --duration. So in this case, we are executing our script for 30 seconds and then we are giving script.js. So I will just type the command K6 run --VUS10 --duration. Duration is 30 seconds and then my script name. So as you can see here, it clearly states the scenario that we are doing. It is saying 10 looping virtual users. So 10 virtual users are executing the scenario and they will keep on executing this scenario for the 30 seconds. So once 30-second time gets over, it will stop the execution and it will show the result to us. Okay, so guys, are you able to see here HTTP request duration? The average duration is 509. Minimum is basically what is the minimum time one particular request took. what is the median time and what is the maximum time. So minimum time it took as 231.99. Maximum time it took as 5.61 second. And if you look at the P90, P90 is 943 milliseconds. So you are sure that 90 percentages of the 90 percentile of the request will be completed within or below 1 second. So after the performance testing is done, you are sure that 90 percentile of the request will be able to complete below 1 second. And P95 response time is 1 second. Guys, are you following it?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So this is kind of the default output that we get with K6 tool. But I personally don't like this kind of report. I'm looking into HTML reports. So how we can get HTML reports? So by default K6 doesn't provide HTML report. So you will have to search for K6 HTML report. There is one GitHub repository created by Ben. We can use this repository. So what we have to do is import the HTML reporter function, and then we have to just paste this code block, and it will give us HTML report. So I will just show you. I will modify my script. I will just copy this line, paste it in my script. So what we are telling it, we are importing HTML report function from this GitHub repository. And we are just copying this code block. So it will print all our handle summary in a summary.html file format. So I will just save this and I will go back to the terminal and will run again K6 run script.js. So it will execute my script, but it will say that generating HTML summary report. It did not provide me this kind of output. So we will have to go and check whether we have got the HTML summary report or not. I will just go back to our folder, and yes, we have got this summary.html file. So I will just double click on it. You can open it in any browser. So as you can see here, total number of requests is 1. And we get this beautiful HTML report. So all the metrics are available here as well. Average, mean, maximum, 90th percentile, 95th percentile. Then we are able to see what do you mean by breach thresholds. And then there is another thing called as checks and groups. We get other stats like iterations, number of virtual users, number of requests, number of data that is getting sent and getting received. So we will just see how we can use these breach thresholds, how we can utilize, and how we can use these checks and groups. So before that, let me just go to a Postman tool. So I have these 3 set of APIs under GTR 2023 Postman collection. So I have created this Postman collection. Guys, you are familiar with Postman, right?
Yes, Monish.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So as you can see here, I have 3 API. One is get API, another is post API, and another is delete API. So let's say we will just click on send and see the response that is getting written. So if you check here, it is returning this JSON response. And then we have this create user API. We are sending this JSON payload, JSON body, and getting this user created. And then we have this delete user API. So let's say we have these three APIs with us. How we can use ChatGPT or other LLM tools to create our scripts in JavaScript? How we can utilize that? So what you can do is you can click on code. By default, you will get the curl command from here. So what you need to do is you just need to simply copy this curl command, and then go back to your browser and go back to ChatGPT and just tell it This is my call command. Create a K6 performance testing script for above call request. You don't have to do anything. It will directly provide you ready-made JavaScript file, which you can directly use and check whether it is correctly behaving or not. So if you check here, they are again importing HTTP. So essentially we are doing an HTTP get call, right? So that's why they are importing HTTP from K6 and importing check and sleep. So check is nothing but they are checking here status is 200 or not. So what I will do is I will just simply click on copy code, go back to my editor, and we'll click on new file. We'll paste this code and we'll save this. We'll rename it as script1.js. Fine. Then let's go again back to our terminal. I will just clear the screen. And then let's run this script. K6 run script1.js. So as you can see here, it is showing that status code is 200, right? So that's how we can check for the validations. So essentially the purpose of writing script is to get the pass-fail criteria, right? So what we can do is, let's say if we are changing the status code and this time we are checking whether we are getting 201 response code or not. So what should happen here? The script should fail, right? So it is correctly failing. Status code is, we are checking for status code is 201 or not, but essentially we are getting status code 200. So that's why our script is failing. So I will just modify our script. Okay. And I will go back to ChatGPT and will tell us modify above script to include threshold. So it will include a response time threshold in the script. So if you see here, it is saying response time, it is introducing a check, or it is introducing a threshold saying response time is less than 500 millisecond or not. So I will just copy this code and will replace our script. Okay. So if we go back to our terminal, we are getting response within 65 millisecond, right? So I will just go and check, remove this, make it for 50 millisecond. And we'll run again our script. See, now we have our status code. We are checking for status code is 200. So status code 200 is getting passed. But if you look at the response time, so we are expecting response time to be less than 50 millisecond. But in actual, we are getting response time is more than 50. So actually, if you look at the actual response time, it is 109 milliseconds. So that's why our script is getting failed correctly. Okay, and how we can get the HTML report in this case as well. So let's go back to our HTML reporter again. I will just copy this code block and we'll paste it here. Okay, and let's go back to our terminal again and we'll run this script again. So HTML summary report is generated. I will just refresh this because it is getting generated with the same. That's why I'm just refreshing here. So as you can see here, total request is 1, failed check is 1. So if you go here, one check is getting failed. So response time is less than 50 milliseconds. We are expecting response time should be less than 50 milliseconds. But our response time, if you look at our response time, it is 804 milliseconds. So that's why our it is showing as failed check. Right, guys? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go again back to the. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Sir, I have one doubt. As you are saying, like we are following the times in milliseconds, right? But how we can consider like, yeah, this is an ideal time. As you are saying, we can consider 50. But how means where it is proclaimed that this milli time second means for verification we need some data, na? Like for this I'm asking.
So that is a very good question, Om. But to
Yes.
answer that question, you will be getting these SLAs from your product owner or your business guys, because application will differ from one application to other. Some applications are like e-commerce application wherein your API has to be super quick. But some applications are like banking application wherein you are not expecting that much heavy load, and you can have your APIs responding within 1 second or 2 seconds. So you will have to go back to the your product owner. So as you are writing your manual test cases, you need to get the pass fail criteria from your product owner for performance testing as well. That how performant our API has to be, or how many number of requests per second that our API can support, right? So one example which I can give is basically at HDFC Life, when we were doing when we were merging with Exide Life Insurance. So I will just give you an example of our one of the case study. So when we were in the process of acquiring Exide Life Insurance, our technology team expected that one of our API, which is called as Devop API, that will take we expected that API to have more and more traffic. So the SLA that the team chalked out is basically 100 requests per second. But initially we recorded our scripts and we ran our scripts, and the response time or the request per second that we got is 30 requests per second. So which was nowhere near our expected request per second or throughput. So if you talk about request per second, it is also called as throughput. So throughput that we were expecting is 100 requests per second, but actually we got 30 requests per second. So we got in touch with our development team as well as our DevOps team, and found out where is that actual issue lies. So we found out that one of our SQL queries, so it contained multiple group by queries. So group by clause was used multiple times. So we got rid of that. We simplified the query, and it gave us 70 requests per second throughput. Again, it was not near with our expected. So what we did is we did some modifications around our infra part as well. So there is a concept called as application load balancer, ALBs. So if you talk about ALBs, there is a concept called as pre-warmed ALB. So pre-warmed ALBs are nothing but your ALBs are in already warmed up state, so that they can take up more and more traffic and they can give a quick response. So that is how we achieved 130 requests per second.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Hope it answers your question, Om.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. Any other question, guys? Okay. Let's move to the next part. So generally, if you look at the performance testing type, so there are 6 types of performance testing, namely smoke, average load, stress, soak, breakpoint, and spike. So don't get overwhelmed by these terms. I will just explain all these terms using an analogy. So how many of you guys go to gym and do some sort of exercise? Can we respond in zeros and one again? Okay, so many of you are saying 1, many of you are saying 0. No problem. I will just close this one. So if we talk about someone going to the gym and lifting weights, so my question to you is, we go to the gym and start lifting weights straight away, right? Yes or no? We don't do that, right? Because our body is not in a warmed up state. So what we do is we do initial warming up sets and some low level sets with low weights, right? So that is nothing but our smoke test. So smoke tests are generally last for very few minutes, and they are done with very few virtual users. So that is how we are doing smoke test. If we talk about average load testing, so average load testing is nothing but you know about your body, and let's say if you are able to do workout with 10 kg plates on a barbell, so that becomes your average load. Stress is basically, let's say you are easily able to lift 10 kg weights on barbell, and you are putting more weight than that, so that will cause some amount of stress on your shoulder. Let's say you are doing shoulder presses. Then if you are suddenly start looking to lift 20 kgs, and you are comfortable with 10 kg, so that will put additional stress on your shoulder. So that is how how you can relate to stress testing. Soak testing is basically you are looking at somewhere smaller amount of load, but at higher duration. So one example which I can think about is marathon runners. So marathon runners are not like sprinters. So they don't run very fast, but they run for long duration. They need to cover long amount of distance. So that is nothing but soak testing or endurance testing. Breakpoint is essentially you are gradually increasing the load. So let's say you are starting with 5 kg of plates on barbell, and you are gradually increasing the weight from 5 kg to 7.5 kg to 10 kg to 20 kg to find out the breakpoint that I cannot go beyond, let's say, 25 kg. So this becomes my breakpoint. And spike is nothing but you are doing like suddenly increasing the weight. So let's say some of the power lifters are doing one rep max workout. So that is nothing but spike testing. You can relate like that. Okay. So we have covered this part, performance script creation with AI. So that is already covered. Then how to convert Postman collections to K6 scripts. So I will just cover that as well. So we have this Postman collection wherein we have these three API requests. One is get API, another is post API, and another is delete API. So how we can achieve this? So what we need to do is we need to install this library npm install. So -g will install it globally, and they have provided one library called as Postman to K6. So what will happen is we just need to export our Postman collection. So I will just click on export, and we'll click on collection and click on export. Yeah, I will name it as ATAGTR 2023 Postman collection.js, and we'll click on save. So this will save my Postman collection in JSON format. And then we just need to run this command, Postman to K6 collection.json, and then the script name, output script name that we want to save it as. Okay, so it says collection.json. There is no such file or directory, so we will have to change it. Yeah, so this is the correct name of our Postman file, ATAGTR Postman collection.json. I will just click enter. So what it will do is it will create an output file. So -o is for creating the output file as .js file, and it will save it as k6-script.js. So if you go back to our folder, so here it is. K6-script.js file is created. So if you go here, and I will just open this file. So as you can see here, it has automatically created a K6 performance testing script using our Postman collection. So as you can see here, we have get users API, create user API, and delete user API. So which is automatically created. So if you have huge number of Postman collections and you want to run performance testing against those, you can simply export those Postman collection. You can use this plugin or the library for converting it to K6 equivalent scripts, and then you can run it as shown previously. Hope this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so the real world use case, we have already discussed how we achieved from 30 requests per second and how we reached till 130 requests per second at HDFC Life for one of our API. So if we talk about the summary, so K6 is a powerful and open source load testing tool. So I'm a huge fan of JMeter, but I'm more inclined toward coded tools. So JMeter is a GUI based tool, but I'm more and more inclined towards coding. So that's why I would prefer K6. But don't take my word for it. I would suggest, if you want to do performance testing at your organization, evaluate 2 to 3 tools, like do POC with one of your use cases. Select one use cases that you want to automate or you want to test the tools with. Evaluate 2 to 3 tools. Like, let's say if you are using JMeter, then you are using K6, and there another tool is there which is called as Locust. So Locust is Python based tool. So you can evaluate these through 2 to 3 tools, as well as you can evaluate Gatling as well. So Gatling is also very good tool. So you can evaluate all these tools. You can see which tool fits your purpose. So one drawback of JMeter, which we found at our organization, is basically it consumes more and more memory for single virtual user. So if you increase more and more number of virtual user, it will start consuming more and more memory. So that's why we are using K6 at our organization. So I would suggest everyone to download K6, explore it, documentation, very good documentation. You can get all your queries answered with the documentation, and start with performance monitoring. So after executing the scripts, you will come to know that whether you are able to achieve your goals, performance goals or not. So that is point number 1. How to fix those goals? So for that, you would need to take help of your development team or your DevOps team. So what you need to do is you need to have proper accesses, or for that you can take help of your DevOps team. Why I'm telling it is if you have access for application performance management tools, APM tools like New Relic or AWS CloudWatch, then you can monitor your CPU utilization, memory utilization. But if you don't have accesses, then you will have to get on a call with your development team or DevOps team and check at the time of doing the performance test, how the CPU utilization or memory utilization spikes up and down. So you'll have to check that. Okay. Yeah, thank you guys. Any questions that you have, I'm happy to address those.
Monish, anything did you try on the protocol level testing of using K6?
So what do you mean by protocol level testing?
Yeah, I basically wanted to test the UI because K6 supports protocol level testing,
Correct.
where it we can directly hit the HTTP and HTTPS requests instead of going through a browser navigation.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yep.
Yeah. So what you can do is, so this is a very valid and very good question. So what you can do is you can record all your scenarios on browser. So there is one extension, Chrome extension available of K6. So you can simply open your application and start recording all your actions. It will create an automated script which you can export and run locally as well as on the. So they have already provided a Chrome plugin for it.
Okay.
Does that answer to your question?
Yes, it answers. Actually, I have tried that one. Yep.
Okay.
But and I have. I mean, I'm not sure how reliable that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
Hi.
any other?
Yes,
Yeah.
one question I have. Like in JMeter, we can extract, record, and play and get all the APIs if we don't get from the dev. Is it possible with this also? If yes, can you show us?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yeah, the question is simple that in JMeter, record and
Mhm.
play, we can extract the APIs on the UI, right? And then we select the APIs on which we have to perform the testing, right?
Okay.
Is it possible with Grafana also? If yes, is it possible that you can show us?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it using this as well. So there is an option to download HAR file as well. So you are talking about these APIs, right? So if you click on inspect and the network
Yes, 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 yes,
that you see, right?
yes.
So that can be downloaded as HAR file. You can directly import this HAR file and convert it into K6 script. So there are plugins available. So if you search HAR to K6, a HAR to K6 converter is available. You just have to use the Grafana K6 document. I'm sure you are aware about HAR file.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, we can try that.
Yeah. You can download the HAR file from your Chrome's network. See, here it is shown. You can save all your API requests as HAR file, and then you can use this converter through which you will be getting ready-made JS file. Is it clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other question, guys?
Can you, hi, Prachi here. Can you just show that postman collection to K6 and I mean how efficiently we can make use of it like more because generally we do some API testing and respect to immediately some authentication handling we sometimes so
Okay.
how it will get handled.
Yeah, I mean, if you are using some tokens, right?
Yeah,
When you
right,
say authentication, you mean to say Buddha token or some
right,
kind of token, right?
correct.
What you need to do is you just have to export your Postman collection as I shown. Otherwise, what you can do is you can copy individual API. Let's say this particular API uses authorization. So what you need to do is you just need to click on this skull, and this skull request will contain all your bearer token, your access token. You just have to simply click on this copy, and if you are not comfortable with JavaScript syntax, what you can do is simply go to ChatGPT and tell it that I want to convert this particular script into equivalent K6 script.
Okay.
Prachi, hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yes, okay, thank you.
So apart from that, if you have any additional question, you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I am happy to help you guys. No worries. Any question, guys?
Sir, in Windows, whether we have to use CMD or we can use PowerShell as well for as you have told for the various commands.
Yeah. You can use command prompt as well as you can use PowerShell as well. Some
Okay.
sort of terminal is needed.
Okay. And for the editor point of view, if we use Notepad++, it will be fine.
Yeah. So I am using Sublime Text here. So
Okay.
you can use any editor. You can use Notepad as well as you can use VS Code.
VS Code. Okay. Sir, got it.
Okay. Any additional questions? Otherwise, I will stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Monish. It was really wonderful session. Amazing, I would say. A lot of people also got benefited. Great
Yeah,
interactions as well.
Thank you, Aditya.
Kept it. Yeah, thank you so much, Monish.